से सो सो सगल विनाशे ज्योति से सो सगल विनाशे ज्योति से सो सगल विनाशे जो बादल की छाई जो बादल की छाई जन नानक जग जाने ओ मिथ्या जन नानक जग जाने ओ मिथ्या रहे ओ राम शरनाई रहे ओ राम शरनाई रहे ओ राम शरनाई रहे ओ राम शरनाई रचना राम बनाए रचना राम बनाए साधो रचना राम बनाए साधो रचना राम बनाए रचना राम बनाए रचना राम बनाए साधो 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 रचना राम बनाए.
Here we have tofu.
Great Master used to say, his teaching, his method, the path of the masters, Sant Mat, is meant for the brave, not for the weak. You have to be a warrior. He used to use the word. You have to be a warrior to be in this path. Why did he say that? What is the need to be brave and warrior in order to meditate and find yourself? He explained that many of us cannot cope up with the pralabdha, the destiny we are born with. And we try to run away from it. We are cowards. If we cannot face what we designed as an experience of destiny, then that is not a spiritual path at all. That's escapism. The path of the Master says, you should be strong and be warriors and face your life where you have been placed in the middle. Cope up with all the ups and downs of destiny. And then in the middle of it, escape and go back to your home from this network into which you have come.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Love. I see Brother Amit, Sister Jay, Sister Anita, Brother Diraj. Welcome to Satsang. I know Pradeep, she told you about it, and now you're with us. Welcome to Ishwar's Heart. I wish you oceans and oceans of love and blessings in this Satsang. Sister Jerry, hello, welcome. And Brother Sandy, Brother Jit, Brother Dietrich, welcome. Brother Anu, Brother Isaac, welcome to Love. And I see Mama Bindu and Papa Naveen, welcome to Love. Brother Berry, welcome to Love. Brother Prempalji, welcome to Love. And I see Pardeep, welcome to Love. Gursharan, so nice to see you, brother. And Sister Mary, welcome to Love. Brother Mishashji, and Sister Tanya, welcome to Love. We haven't seen you for a while. Wishing you a cup of nectar from the hands of Ishwarji and oceans of blessings. Paula, Sister, and Alan, welcome to Love. I know you're in India, enjoy. And Brother Jamal, welcome. Sister Lucy, welcome to Love. And Pradeep, Vishesh, I think I got everyone. Welcome to Love. We start satsang by putting our head on the feet of Baba Sawan Singh, Sant Thakur Singh, Sant Kirpal Singh, Sant Ajayib Singh, and of course Ishwar Puri Ji. We put our head there, and from there we proceed with the satsang. May God arrange every moment of the satsang and bless us with showers and showers and showers of love. So let's share the beautiful schedule. And here is the beautiful schedule with all the flowers surrounding Master and his beautiful smile. Wow, beautiful. And I love the color of the yellow with the yellow. It matches it. And it says, we have a hymn by our dear sister Bhavani, titled Every Disciple's Prayer. Wow, Sister Bhavani, I can't wait. I'm looking forward. Then there is an introduction by me, and after me, Prempalji is gonna give us satsang. The topic is Creation of the Creator, and his talk is 28 minutes. So we're looking forward. And after that, we're gonna listen to our Holy Father, Ishwar Puri Ji, and melt all in his love and in the devotion of God. So wishing all of us a holy satsang and one step towards God and the kingdom of God. And if anyone has any question, may his question be answered in satsang. So let's start with our dear sister Bhavani.
Sisters, thank you so much for Seva always. I happened to come across this song, which is also one of my favorites by Celine Dion, and it's called Every Mother's Prayer. And on every occasion of my children's birthday, I would always cry because the meaning of the song touched my heart so deeply. But when I looked at the lyrics again, it also made me feel the love for my master, for Ishwar and great master, the soul's connection of this prayer. If there's any errors in my singing, please forgive me. I pray you'll be my eyes. I pray you will guide me. I pray you'll never leave me and watch over my soul and help me to be wise. Help me to let go of this restless mind and bring me to your holy feet. every disciple's prayer. Master knows. Lead me to this place where I truly belong. Hold my soul longs for that special glimpse. Hold me in your heart forever, Master. Guide me with your grace to a place where I'll be safe. I pray my soul finds the light and holds it in my heart. As the darkness falls each night, remind me, Master, where my home is. This is every disciple's prayer. Every child knows, need to find your grace. Guide me with your love, make my faith strong. Lead me to your grace, guide me with your love. I pray that you guide me. I pray you'll be in my eyes and watch over my soul, Master, and help me to be wise. I pray that you guide me. Thank you, Radhaswami.
Sister Bhavani, that was a marvelous, marvelous song. We all pray for the guidance of Master, and our whole life is just centered around this song. The prayer for the guidance of the Master in every moment of our life. So Sister Bhavani, we so much appreciate this song and the love in the song and your love and devotion to Master and your seva for Master. So beautiful. And we all pray for that guidance, the guidance from the Royal One. The Royal One, Kabir says, is the one that can reveal the formless. He can reveal the formless one inside of us. He's the real one that can reveal God inside of us. And the true Master, the Master of the highest, that Royal One, that majestic one where God fully lives, he reveals in us the formless one, where he shows us himself inside of us. He's away from all ceremonies, all rituals, and everything that the mind does. It's all a connection of soul to God. It's a connection of soul to God. It has nothing to do with ceremonies, rituals, or anything that has to deal with mind and space. It is just a relationship between soul and God, the drop and the ocean, and that soul wanting to join its origin and go back to the ocean of love where it came from. At some point of our journey, we start to yearn, we start to seek to go back to our origin, and that it comes in the form of some pain, some void, some dissatisfaction from this world. We might have tried everything. We might have money, we might have a great relationship, but still we feel void. And some people try to fill this void by so many means of the mind, yet that void can never be filled because soul belongs to God. Give it unto God, as Jesus says. It has the seal of God on it, and it will only be satisfied in its true source, in its true home, where it came from. And there is the true satisfaction, Kabir says. Kabir says only when we have the vision of the drishti of the inner master inside of us, we will get the real satisfaction. A satisfaction and a joy and a bliss that is not matched anywhere in this world. And that comes, of course, by the blessing of the master who appears in our life. Wow, his appearance. His appearance is like winning the spiritual lottery. There is nothing more important in the human existence, more important than the initiation of a perfect master. As when we are initiated by a perfect master, all our worries, all our problems, all our void, all our thirst gets quenched. It gets quenched. Our spiritual thirst gets quenched in stages. As we become more pure, we get more and more quenched, more and more satisfied. It all depends on the purity of the heart. As my master Santakar Singh used to say, that the milkman, the milk lady, or the milkman cannot pour milk in a dirty glass because then it will be polluted. He only pours milk in a very clean glass. And the same thing, the temple of the human body where God lives, God polishes it before he enters fully there, before he makes himself fully manifest there. He polishes it slowly. He keeps removing everything that is opposite of love. Everything that is opposite of love is being drained, and we are being fed with love, with blessing, with knowledge, and with truth. Really, what is truth? Truth. What is knowledge? It's the light of God. That light of God comes to us by the blessing of the Master. And when our eyes meet the eyes of the outer master or the inner master, it's the same thing because they are one and the same. And from the eyes of the master, all blessings come. And from the eyes of the master, we enter into infinity. We enter into immortality. We enter into God and the kingdom of God from his eyes when he looks at us. What a great, great, great luck we have. We have won the spiritual lottery and met someone like Ishwarji, who really opened his arm to us and said, "Come to me, O you weary and heavy laden. I will give you rest. I will give you peace. There will be no more sorrows, no more pain, no more tears. From now on, I will take responsibility of everything in your life. Everything in your life will be, everything in your life will be settled by me. All your problems will be solved by me, no matter what kind of problem." He has the key. There is a key for every problem. And the key is in the hands of Ishwarji. And there is a key to God and the kingdom of God. That key for every soul. And that key is in the hands of Ishwarji for those who came to him, for those who became his friends, for those who established a human-to-human relationship with the Master. It's a great, 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 great blessing. Great blessing. When he looked at us, when he put his hand on us, and we were in his aura, the aura of love, the aura of love, the magnetism of love. He magnetized us with the love of God and the kingdom of God. He stole our heart. He pierced us with the arrow of love. And now all what we do day and night, is yearn for that love, yearn for that oneness. In Arabic, they call it at-tawheed, oneness, to make the many into one. First, we were one and we became many for an experience of duality. And now the experience of duality is ending. That's it. We had enough of duality. And now oneness. Oneness is quenched. Oneness is being asked for. And there is a demand for oneness. And the one comes to make the many into himself. He comes from God and the kingdom of God. He is total. He is one with the one. And that one with the one makes us one. What we think, so shall we become. Think of the pure one. Listen to his words. Imbibe his love. Obey his commandments. And what happens? Slowly, 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 the drop merges in the ocean. The ocean pours itself in the drop. The ocean becomes the drop, and the drop becomes the ocean. And that is called the tawheed, oneness. Oneness. There is nothing that the Master tells us that doesn't mean anything. Remember every word he told you when you were in his company. Every word he told you had a deep meaning in it that comes sometimes later on in life, and we understand what the Master says. Sometimes they give us clues in stories, as they are limited in this world, limited by the other power. The other power does not allow the Master to show miracles or show himself. No, it puts limits on the Master. But he still works beyond those limits. He finds loopholes. He finds loopholes and he gives us riddles. He gives us stories. He gives us clues. He gives us stories of other masters and disciples. And from those stories, we learn. And those stories that he tells us, are also related to things that are happening to us right now sometimes. And it doesn't mean that he left physically, that he doesn't speak to us right now. He speaks to us in satsang, through his videos, and through everybody that does seva. He speaks to us. He gives us the messages. I remember just 2 weeks ago, brother Anup, he put a video and we couldn't listen to the Master. His voice was too low and everybody was complaining. We can't hear the Master. And then what happens? Anup puts another video. And the first thing Master says, can you hear me now? Raise your hand if you hear me. That's just the biggest proof that he is right here. He is right here. Where two or more gather in my name, there I am. He's in each one of us. And when we gather in his love, then he is there fully. Then it's like a big torch, because the candles become a big torch, and that big torch lights the way for all of us, that everyone gets his questions answered. Everyone gets the nectar of life, the water of life, and the manna of life that is really handed to us by the Master. We all taste that love. That keeps us coming. And the first one that comes, I feel like a beggar every day. I feel like a beggar coming with his cup, begging at the door of Master. And I'm addicted to this love. I'm addicted to that presence of the Master, especially in satsang time, that every day when we meet in the name of Ishwar, when we put our head on his feet every day, and say, oh Lord God, we are nothing. We are your servants, and we come with our empty cup, begging for your love, begging for your presence, begging to merge into your Shabd every day, every day, every day. Why do we keep satsang every day? It is for this, that we are addicted to the love of God, addicted to the grace of God, addicted to the mercy of God, addicted to the presence of God. That's what keeps me, at least, I can say, coming here. And it blesses me, it blesses my whole day, it purifies my karma and my body, it keeps Master's foot on my head, on my mind, keeps Master's foot on my mind, that when Master's foot is on our mind, then our soul is in control. When our soul is in control and we don't follow the dictates of the mind, we are happy. We are happy. We are extremely happy. We are happy because we are pleasing our Father God, our Mother God. We are pleasing the Lord. And there is a great joy that comes to the soul when it feels that it is pleasing to the Lord, when it feels it is staying in the commandments of the Master, when it feels and knows that it is in Master's boat and in Master's fort. To be in Master's boat is also to be in his fort of protection, his fort of mercy and grace, his fort of mercy and grace. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and everything else shall be added unto you. Everything, whatever you need, will be supplied to you. This we can all test, and I have been testing. I have been testing it since the time I was initiated, seeing the hand of Master in my life, seeing him do things for me that nobody else can do, filling the void in my heart. And whenever I feel void, I run to meditation. If I ever feel lonely, or if I ever feel any disturbance in the harmony of my system, I run to Master. I run there because there is my refuge. I run to the feet of the Master. I sit by his holy feet, and by his holy feet, everything is provided. By his holy feet, everything is provided. Everything is being blessed. The whole life becomes a big blessing. The whole life becomes a big blessing. And he transforms all his lovers into spiritual kings and queens, where they walk on the face of this earth with royalty, with royalty. They might be nothing in this world, but when they walk with royalty. When they talk with royalty. And they carry their Master with them wherever they go. Their Master is fully there with them. And that's the light of God. To have the Master with us is to have his radiance, to have his light. And light shineth in darkness. Light shineth in darkness. In this dark world, when we have Master, when we're in connection with Master every second, his light shines in the darkness. It clears the way. It clears the way. It shows the way to everyone. Everyone that really is in connection, in deep love with the Master, his way is lit by the light of God. He lives in the security of God, and he or she becomes fearless. Fearless. This is the greatest gift that Master gives to his devotees. The gift of fearlessness, that in any situation, even if they are in the middle of the war, even if they are in the midst of a war, they will have no fear. They will have no fear because they know that God is with them, God is protecting them. We heard the story of Baba Jamal Singh when he was in the army and there was a war, and he was meditating in the trench, and the enemies could see him, but he did not care. He was absorbed in God, and God took care of everything. He was absorbed in God. He was in the view of the enemy, but he had no fear. He was absorbed. To be absorbed in God. Absorbed in God. Wow, like a sponge in the water, taking that water into itself. And when we sit in meditation, when we think of Master, when we bow our head to the feet of Baba Sawan, We are being absorbed in God. If we imagine our head, and you can imagine your head right now, at the feet of your special master, Baba Sawan or Ishwarji, or whoever, put your head there. Put your head there. Don't think of anything else except the love and devotion. The love and devotion to the master. Imagine your head there. Keep it there and absorb the love. Absorb the love. Slowly, slowly, slowly absorb that love that comes from the feet of the master. And this is what meditation is. This is what meditation is. Meditation of the lovers of God is they put their head on the feet of their beloved. They put their head on the feet of the beloved and they absorb the love. And in this absorption of the love, there is some feeling of security, of oneness, feeling that God is so close, God is so near, God is right here. God is right here. He wants us to learn humility. The lovers of God, they run to do any seva for God, any type of seva. They will be running. Kabir said in the beginning when I played that the true lovers of God will do any type of work that God gives them. They run to do that work. They run to do that work with folded hands and bent head. They do all the seva that is given to them. I liked when I watched that episodes of Yunus Emery. I love the way that they greet each other. Here, people like want to shake your hand, and then I feel like I have to go wash my hand. But over there, they put their hand on their heart, which resembles the soul, and they bow their head like that. What a great greeting like that, like to put your hand on your heart and bow down to God living in the person. I love that way of greeting. And I also love the way of greeting like this, that how they in India they fold their hands. They fold both hands and they bow down. And that also has a great, great, great spiritual meaning that one hand resembles the beloved, the other hand resembles al-murid, which is the disciple, the lover, and then there is the space, but then there is no space anytime, and they become one. The two hands become one. There is no space between the hand, which is union, which means going beyond time and space, which means going beyond time and space. And then bowing, the head is bowing the soul. Soul bows to the oversoul. Soul bows to the soul of all souls. Soul bows to God. And those two hands are extended to God and the kingdom of God like roots, and they imbibe all the blessings and all the roots from God and the kingdom of God. The more the soul is more humility, the more the soul gains more humility by the grace of the Master. It's the longer its roots go in God and the kingdom of God. The more humility, the longer those roots go in God and the kingdom of God, the more the blessing. So the whole secret of spirituality is like Sant Kirpal says, first humility, second humility, and third humility. And how do we get the humility? How do we get the humility? He gives us instances in our life. Maybe we are in the ashram, or even in the world, and we start to just help, do the selfless seva, do the selfless service to all humanity. And in the ashrams, of course, it's a man-making center to make man into God, to really crush the ego of the man. I just love that episode that I watched about Yunus Emery, how he was a great judge, but then he was caught by love. The arrow of love pierced his heart, and he came to the master. He came to the master, and the master asked him to really go clean the rooms of the other disciples, and he was shaken. His ego came, and he was like, why did I do this? Why did I leave my great job as being a judge, and I'm coming here to clean rooms of people? His mind was talking to him. His mind was inviting him to leave. The mind was inviting him to leave. The mind was saying, you have status, you are a judge. And now look at you, you're going to be a servant of the sheikh. Oh my God, what are all the people going to say about you? What are all the other judges going to say about you? And his mind was inviting him to come out of the ashram, and his soul was telling him, no, no, there is something here, there is something here, stay here. The master had to really work hard on him and had to show a lot of miracles, to keep him there, to overcome the mind. That's what the master does. Sometimes he does a lot of miracles in our life to keep us on the path of love, to keep us on the straight way. And we need God's mercy to stay on the path of love. Without God's mercy, nobody can stay on the path of love. And there is a poem in Arabic from Rumi. تحتاج إلى رحمة الله لتسير على الصراط المستقيم. You need God's great mercy to walk on the straight path, the narrow path here that leads to God and the kingdom of God. Enter ye in at the straight path, because enter ye in at the straight gate, because narrow is the way that leads to life. Straight is the gate and narrow is the way that leads to life. Jesus said, why is it straight and why is it narrow? Why is it so narrow? Because ego cannot enter there. Because anger cannot enter there. If we have ego, then we are too big in this world, then we cannot enter into the straight gate. We cannot enter into the pathway of love. That is why God really works on us really hard, every day chopping a piece of our ego, every day polishing us, draining away from us everything that is not needed. As wherever God is, wherever there is water, fire cannot exist. And God and the 5 enemies of the soul, anger, lust, ego, greed, and attachment, cannot mingle together. One has to go away. Just like if there is water, it either overcomes the fire or the fire overcomes the water. There is only one there. And the same way that in the temple of that is why this narrow is the way that leads to God. Very narrow is the way that leads to God. That means everything that is opposite of God, our ego, our anger, our attachment, everything has to go away. Everything has to go away, and then we can enter into, then we are accepted, then we are pulled into the court of Lord God. We are pulled then into the court of Lord God, and we can walk that straight path that leads to love, that leads to the highest enjoyments. Kabir says, there is no other enjoyment bigger than meeting the Lord within. That is what Saint Kabir says. That is what Saint Kabir says. And he says, my dear, every moment of the human life is so important if we use it to add God to our life. If we use it to add God to our life, sooner or later, we're going to be happy. And we're going to be extremely happy. And no matter what happens in our karma, we're going to stay smiling. We're going to stay smiling and we're going to be happy. That is fruits of love and devotion, fruits of meditation. The fruits of love and devotion, the fruits of meditation are being fearless and being compassionate. So many fruits of love and devotion, so many fruits of meditation, so many fruits of seva, so many fruits of simra that come. Contentment. They call it in Arabic, I love the word in Arabic, the Arabic saints call it as-sakina, peace of heart, peace of heart. That's also a level, a step we reach inside as we go up on the stairway of love. As we go up on the stairway of love, we reach a step, we reach an inner step where Master gives us the gift of peace of mind, as sakina. That gift of peace of mind is better even than happiness or joy. Because when our mind is at peace, then there is no wrinkling in our mind. It's not jumping to the past and the future. It's absorbed into the presence. It's absorbed into the present, and it adds God to it in the present. That's the peace of mind. The peace of mind is that we do not indulge in the past and we do not indulge in the future, but we absorb the moment and we add God to our moment. And that is really a success of the human life. The great success of the human life is when we add God to us every moment. And we never ever feel guilty about the past, because there is also a step inside. In Arabic, they call it an-nafs al-lawwama, the guilty self. We surpass the guilty self into the content self. The guilty self is no more. The guilty self is no more because we reach that step of inner realization that the law of karma is beyond our hands. We cannot do anything about the law of karma. What has happened has happened. What has happened according to the law of karma. And Ishwar Puriji says, even if you go back in time, you cannot do it again. You cannot redo it. It will happen the same way it happened. That is the law of karma. That is the law of karma. Everything happened for a reason, and it happens the way is written in our story. So whatever happened has happened. Now we forget about it. We don't think about it. And we forgive it. We forgive that. We forgive ourselves. We forgive others. And we know it's all a show. And now we focus. We focus on the present. And in the present, if we focus on Master, if we focus on his feet and keep our head at his feet, that we are nothing. The drop bows down to the ocean. Soul bows down to the soul of all souls. When that happens, when the soul admits that it is only a drop, it knows nothing, and it is so weak, and it surrenders itself into the hands of the Lord. It surrenders itself into the hands of the Lord and says, Lord, here am I. I surrender to you. Take me into your fold. Embrace me. Embrace me. Embrace me, O Lord. Embrace me. Embrace me into your heart. Take me into your bosom and give me the water of life and the manna of life from within, from within. This is the bowing. This is what the bowing, the surrender, the bowing to the Lord, bowing to the Lord, surrendering to the Lord is the highest blessing. Blessed is the head that touches the feet of the Master. Blessed is the head that touches the feet of the Master. Blessed is the head that touches the feet of the Master. It's full of love. It has been lit by the foot of the Master. And blessed is the head that keeps from within, bowing to the Master. We bow to every circumstances that happen to our life, good or bad. It's coming from God for our betterment. We bow down to all circumstances, and with folded hands, we say, thank you, Master. I know you have done something for my betterment, even though I don't like it. We could also fight with the Master. We could fight with the Master and tell him, why is this happening? But deep inside, we know that he is in charge and everything is in his control. Everything is in the control of the hand. He has our reins. Just like a horse, we are riding a horse and we can steer the horse any way we want. Also, God has the reins of the horse, of us in his hands. Kabir says, God has a golden chain around my neck. He pulls me wherever he wants. I am like his dog. I go where he wills me to go. When we attach ourselves to Master's feet, then he takes us where he wants to take us. And we experience what he wants us to experience. And everything that comes our way is for our betterment, for our emancipation, for our enlightenment. Every step is an unburdening. Every step is an unburdening. As we are being unburdened, we can really go higher and higher, just like a balloon filled with helium. Cut the weight it's holding, and then it will fly up high, very, very, very easy. And any weight we carry here, Master is unleashing us. Master is cutting our bonds. Master is cleaning us. And he's taking us higher and higher onto the spiritual pathway of love. And sooner or later, as we stay in his fort, we keep holding his hand. Never give up the hand of God. Never, never, ever, ever come out of Master's love. Stay in Master's love. Stay in his satsang. Stay in the company of the holy people. Stay in the company of the like-minded people who are in love with God. If they are so in love with God, their love is contagious. Their love is contagious. Love is contagious. When we are so in love with God, so in love with God, then that love is contagious. It affects the hearts of others, and others also start to love God. That's why Master says, stay in the company of the holy ones. Those ones, those mastanas, those clowns, the clowns of God, the clowns of God, the mastanas of God, that nothing on their head except God, 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 Master, Master, Master. If they speak, they're only talking about Master. Anything that happens in their life, they relate it to Master and they tell you a story of Master. Those are the true lovers of God, that everything on their head is God, God, God. They live in God, they breathe God, they're surrounded by God, and they walk with God. If we find people like that, we are very, very, very lucky. We can keep their company, and their love for God will become contagious. We will become also, we will catch that contagious love that they bring from their Master, just like one candle lights another candle. The same thing that love is. Love is anyone who is so in love with God, they can light other candles. If they have the light of God in them, and the love of God in them, and the humility of God in them, and the virtues of God in them, they can affect others. That's why Master says, meditate, 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 and radiate. Meditate and radiate. Meditate and radiate. The more we meditate, the more we have love and devotion for God, the more we do seva, the more we listen to satsang, the more we read holy books from perfect ones, not from not unperfect ones, but from perfect ones who have attained oneness, then the more we ignite that love in us. And it keeps, there's unlimited light in us, unlimited. Kabir says there's unlimited light in each one of us, unlimited. And he said there are streams and streams of lights, millions of suns and moons inside of us. And it's all right there waiting for us to remove the veil. And how can we remove the veil? We cannot remove any veil. It's in the hands of the one who can remove the veil. And that is the grace of Master. So we keep holding the hand of Master. He's the Alpha, he's the Omega, and he's in between. He's the journey and he's the destination. We keep holding the hands of love, and love will do everything for us. It's all about keeping in the love, keeping in the love of the Master, and keeping the presence of the Master, and enjoying the presence of the Master. And our soul starts to dance in Master day and night. Day and night, our soul is dancing. The lovers of God, their soul is dancing. It's dancing, going in whirls and whirls and whirls, just like those Sufi dervishes. They are dancing outside. They're going in circles and circles and circles and circles. And I love the way they have their hand like that and their head like that, and they're turning and turning and turning and turning and turning around their inner Master. They are dancing inside to their inner Master, dancing inside to Baba Sawan, dancing to love. They are whirling in love. They are whirling in love. They are whirling like a circle in love. that has no beginning, no middle, and no end, whirling and whirling and whirling around their inner master and drinking the nectar that comes from the core, and that is their inner master. As they circle and circle and circle, their head is bowing, and they have their hand on their heart, and their heart is bowing, and they're circling and circling and circling. And with it, while they are circling, they're also, their soul is circling and dancing to the inner master. And that's why they are so happy. That's why they are sustained by God. From the inner supplies of God, they live. From the inner supplies of God. And the God has the inner supplies. And if we just are in touch with the inner supplies that are always there, like a well that has no end, no bottom, like a well that has no bottom, Shab, the holy word, the sound current. The sound current is the supplies of God to us. When we listen to the holy sound, we are being supplied. That supply of God will take away all depression, all misery, all doubts, everything opposite of God. Listen to the holy sound. Kabir says, my brothers and sisters, listen to the holy sound of God. Listen to the holy sound of God. That sound of God contains everything. It contains everything, and it's the supply. It's the supply. It's the nectar of life. It's the wine of life, and it will nourish the soul. It will take everything that is opposite away. We can live. We can live in that sound. That sound is love. That sound is love. It's the supply of love. And to live in the love is the best life ever. So now we're gonna listen to our dear brother Prempalji and enjoy his satsang. Thank you, Master, for the seva. Okay, cool. I'll put Prempalji down.
Michael, can I read a very short poem?
Oh my God, yes, Sarah.
Okay. Okay. If the foot of the trees were not tied to earth, they would be pursuing me, for I have blossomed so much. I am the envy of the gardens. I closed my mouth and spoke to you in 100 silent ways. I went inside my heart to see how it was. Something there makes me hear the whole world weeping. I'm just reading short poems all in one line. Your heart knows the way, run in that direction. We should ask God to help us towards manners. Inner gifts do not find their way to creatures without just respect. It's all Rumi quotes, small ones. Just looking if I can find one more. Keep silent, because the word of silence is a vast fullness. If the house of the world is dark, love will find a way to make windows. Thank you.
Wow, Sarah Ji. May you blossom in God, just like that poem that you read. May you blossom and be full of God's light, God's enjoyment, and God's grace, and God's happiness, and God's joy. I wish that on you. May you blossom in God, dear
Thank you.
Sister Sarah, and all of everyone here too. Thank you for doing seva. Okay, you have to do seva more and more. Okay, now we play our dear brother Prempalji.
My today's topic is creation of the Creator. All of us has a question in our mind. Who created the creation? If God created the creation, who created God? And what was here before God? Or what was here before time and space? These kind of questions runs around in our mind, including myself and many others. How the creation was created and who created it? If God created it, who created him? Many saints wrote many verses about this. In the beginning was the world was with God, and the world was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came into being through him, and apart from him nothing came into being. That's what it says in the Bible. Even before Bible, in India, many Vedas, Puranas, as Ishwar Puri Maharaj used to say. There are 4 Vedas in Rig Veda. It says creation was done with Naad. Naad means sound. Baba Nanak ji also wrote a verse on this. What was here before time and space? If God was here before time and space, I will not even say here. Here means on a physical planet. If God existed, then where he was, what is the name of that place? What's the name of that region? What is the name of that planet? What is the name of that planet? Even if he created Anami, then where he was before Anami, what is the name of that planet, that place? Anami or Radhaswami? Radhaswami is also a name. Anami means no name. It's a very controversial topic, but very important topic. Very important topic. Baba Nanak ji says, Arvad Narvad Tandukara, Tarana Gagan, Achint Pasara, Na din Rain na Chandana Suraj Sun Sumad Lagayanda. Baba Nanak ji says, Arvad Narvad Tandukara, there was nothing but a Tandukara, fog, nothing. Tarana Gagan, Hukumapara, there was no land, no sky, no galaxies at all. Sun Sumad Lagayanda, he was in a blissful state by himself, as it says in the Bible and also in the Vedas and Puranas of India. In the beginning was the world. Shabd. Shabde Tatti, Shabde Akash, Shabde Shabd Bhaya Prakash. In the beginning was God. God, and what is the difference between God and world? What is the difference between Shabd and Creator? I had a chance to ask that question from Ishwar Puri Maharaj in Swastapur. What was here before? If word or Shabd was here, then Shabd created Vaheguru or Vaheguru created Shabd. Did Shabd created God or God created Shabd? Ishwar Puri Maharaj said basically it's the same thing. There is no difference between God and a Shabd. I was very much impressed with that answer that he gave it to me. As Dr. Chand Pardev, how he started the creation, why he even started the creation. That was his moj, free will. As Dr. Chand Pardev always says. That was his moj. He was alone. He wanted to love someone. He wanted someone to love him. We say him and her. In reality, who use this word so we can understand it living in a physical planet. When we go higher above in the higher levels of consciousness, we will understand everything with our soul. As Dr. Chand Pardaji always says, he created the creation with love. Why? Because he wanted to love someone. And he also wanted someone to love him. That's why love, the true love, is the key. As Ishwar Puri Maharaj always says. That is the main thing to understand in spirituality, the love. When he decided to create something, when the creator started the creation, Creation cannot be done without creator. If there is no mom and dad, there will be no kids at all. If there is no seed and no land, there will be no crop at all. If there is no sun, no sunlight. If there is no moon, no moonlight. We need the source to create something. The source was the creator. You can call him creator, Khuda, totality of consciousness, whatever you feel like to call him. When he started the creation, when he decided to become from one to many, first thing he did, created the Shabd Tri Goshit Hua, light and sound. As Kabir Sahib Ji says, Abbal Allah Noor Upaya. Abbal Allah Noor Upaya. In the very beginning, the sound opened up. He created the sound or Shabd. The Shabd and light is the same thing. In the very beginning, Beni, the Shabd Tri Goshit Hua. When he is decided to create the creation, all of a sudden the sound opened up, known as Shabd, same time the light. And Kabir Sahib Ji says, the light came first. Even he created the sound, the light came first. Why? Because the speed of the light is more than the speed of the sound. Abbal Allah Noor Upaya, light and sound, not sound and light. What is Shabd or Naam anyway? Light and sound that was created in the very beginning is the Shabd or Naam. And that Shabd or Naam created everything, as the Bani of Baba Nanak says. Naam mein hi te sab kuch hua. When Satgur Naam na jape, everything has been created by Naam or Shabd, as it says in the Bible. Without Satgur or without Master, you cannot catch that name. What happened? When Shabd Tri Goshit Hua, when the light and sound came out, as it says on the Anurag Sagar, which Sheshpaji already gave us, still delivering the satsang from such a beautiful, beautiful ocean of love, Anurag Sagar. He was one. First thing he created was what? Light after light and sound, what kind of region started? The spiritual creation started first. Spiritual creation, the pure level of consciousness started first. Alak, Agam, Anami, Anami, Agam, Alak, then Sachkhand. That was created. That was the pure creation, spiritual creation. Anami, Agam, Alak, Sachkhand. He created these four regions. In Sachkhand, as we know, 16 absolute, 16 Kala. That creation started. There were 16 souls to begin with. And one of those was called, as Dr. Chand Parjusi, one of our colleague, called or Niranjan Ji. He was one of those souls who were in the Sachkhand when Vaheguru Paramatma created this. After that, what happened? Spiritual creation still continued. After that, Vaheguru Paramatma created Sohang Desh. Why he created the Sohang Desh? Because so he can have more souls, the creation, than Par Brahm. These are the spiritual levels or spiritual creation. Sohang means there is no difference me and you. There is no difference between God and soul. And Sohang Desh was created. Then the dark tunnel was created and the Par Brahm was created. And Par Brahm, the Mahasun and Sun was created. This is the spiritual creation. This is the spiritual creation. When he created everything with Shabd or Naam, Kal and Maya, also known as Shakti, was also created. Same Kal and Maya created the creation in time and creation was created by Vaheguru Paramatma. The same sound created the creation in time and space, but that creation is being governed and watched by Dharmaraj. As the Vani of Baba Nanak Ji says, Khand Patal Deep Sab Loa Kale Bas Aprab Kiya. Aprab Kiya. And Baba Nanak Ji says in the same verses, it's a very big verses. Arbud Narbud Tandu Kara. It's a very big verses. And Baba Nanak Ji says, Jaan de supana ta jagat upaya, Vanj kala adan rahaya, Brahma Vishnu Mesh upaye, Maya mo badhaenda, Khand Brahmand patal arambe, Gupto pargati aayengda. Baba Ji says, the creation that was in time and space is created for that was demanded by Karna Ranjan, that he liked to have his own creation. It's a show that was created in time and space. The creation in time and space is also created by Shabd or Naam. That Shabd or Naam, most people think that sound was Om, Onkar. Onkar Aad mein jana. Onkar Aad mein jana. The sound that created Onkar sab sreshto pai, sab khel tamasha teri badiyai, ape vek kare sab sacha, ape pan kadainda. Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj, third Guru. Onkar sab sreshto pai, the Om, Onkar, Allahu, Allahu. Om, Onkar, Hu, or whatever sound. The Om, Onkar, that the same sound, the Sar Shabd became Anad Shabd in time and space. The creation that was created in a spiritual reason is known as Sar Shabd. The same Shabd that was descended in time and space from Brahm to crooked tunnel to astral then physical level is known as Anahad Nad. And that Shabd is Om Onkar. Onkar sab sreshto pai, sab khel tamasha teri badiyai. Here Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj is trying to tell us what is how this game was started in time and space, because that was his moj. And also Naranjan wanted his own creation. He created that creation for him. Then what happened after that? As Guru Sahib Ji says, even Kabir Sahib Ji says, Bajigar dank bajai, sab khalk tamashe aaye. The Bajigar, the creator who created the show, the one, as Baba Nanak Ji says, Khand Patal Deep Sab Loa Kale Bas Aprab Kiya, the same God, he said, yes. As Vishesh Bhaji already made it clear in the Anurag Sagar. He wanted his own creation and want to govern it. There were some rules set up, and those rules are being followed by Naranjan Ji. Being followed by Naranjan Ji. This creation was created as a show. Then after that, the show was created. If movie is released in the theater, if the theater is closed, who want to come see the movie? Even everything was created. No one was here. Then Ashtangi Mata, Shakti Mata, all these things already been clear in the Anurag Sagar. Many books. He created a show. Bajigar Dank Bajai, Sab Khalk Tamashe Aaye. All of us who were in Sachkhand, who were given a chance, there is another creation being created. If we want, we can go and experience it. And all of us who were there, they just wanted to come and experience this creation at the physical level. That's why we were here. At the physical level, when the creation was started, it's creation from Brahm, crooked tunnel, astral, then physical. Astral, then physical level. This is the creation in time and space, also known as Brahmanda, Anda and Pinda. Brahmanda, Anda, Pinda. Brahmanda means causal Tirkuti. Anda means astral, also known as subtle. Pinda means physical. The cycle of death and birth, 8.4 million species, also started from Pinda. The 6 energy center also started from Pinda. Not from Anda, Brahmanda or Sachkhanda. Not from those levels. Not from those levels. The pure spiritual creation was Alakh, Agam, Anami, Anami, Agam, Alakh. Then Sohan, crooked dark tunnel, Par Brahm. Now in time and space, the creation of Brahmanda, causal area, Tirkuti, the universal mind area from where our soul pick up the mind. When we were in Par Brahm or Sohang Desh, all the souls knew what is Sachkhand, where our home is. When we came to causal area, we pick up the mind from there. When we pick up the mind further came down to the astral area subtle known as Anda. We pick up the sensory body. Then after that, Brahmanda and Anda came up to Pinda. Pinda means the physical level. When we came to the physical level, we took a birth, then we forgot everything. We forgot everything. Pinda forgot the Anda, Anda forgot the Brahmanda, Brahmanda forgot the Parbrahm, Parbrahm forgot the Parbrahm. We know everything. We know everything. When mind is involved from universal mind, we start picking the costumes. Picking the costumes. Physical, astral and causal. And Swamiji Maharaj made it clear in one of his Shabd how the creation and time and space was created. Swamiji Maharaj Ji says everything is created by Shabd. Does not matter either is a spiritual creation or is a causal, astral or physical. Everything is created by Shabd or Naam. Kita pasao, eko kovao, tiste hue lakh daryao. As Baba Nanak Ji says, with the sound created everything, starting from Anami to physical level. The same sound took different forms, and same creation took different form, and the same soul picked up the mind, sensory and physical body and came here in a different form. In a different form. Swamiji Maharaj said, Shabd ne rachi traloki sari, sab mein maya phaili pari. Swamiji Maharaj says, Shabd ne rachi traloki means physical, traloki means three. Three regions, physical, astral, causal, causal, astral, physical. Shabd mein maya phaili pari, maya means illusion. The same Shabd created illusion at these three levels. What is illusion and maya? Whatever keep changing is maya. Whatever is not stable is maya. Whatever don't go with us is maya. That's illusion. Shabd ne and Brahmand rachari, and Brahmand. Physical. Astral, causal. Rachari. Shabd se saat deep nau khand banari. Here Swamiji Maharaj is talking about the physical creation. All these oceans, all these galaxies, everything. शब्द ने तीन और प्रजाधारी, तीन means रजो तमो सतो. Dr. Chand Bhardaji recently made it clear to us, rajtamo sato. Or Parjatari means created the creation. People like, 8.4 million species were created. Shabd ne taran akash khadari. With the power of the Shabd, everything is being sustained. As Baba Nanak ji says, Shabde tarti, Shabde akash, Shabde Shabd bhya prakash, Sagli srasht Shabd ke pashe, Nanak Shabd ghata ghatache. Sagli srasht means the whole creation is created by the Shabd and being sustained by the Shabd. Shabd ne jeev aur brahm kiya re. Shabd se chand aur soor bhya re. All the galaxies are created by Shabd or Naam or sound current. Kalame lahi bange usmani. Nagma e asmani. Everything is created by the Shabd or Naam. Nothing is created by the Shabd without Shabd and Naam. Without Shabd and Naam. Everything what we see is created by Shabd and Naam. Shabd and Naam. Without Shabd and Naam, nothing could be here. If Vaheguru Paramatma withdraw the same Shabd or Naam from here, there will be parle. Everything will be gone. Everything will be gone. How about the creation at the physical level? It's a different kind of creation. The creation of 8.4 million species where we are stuck at. As per Bhai Gurdas ji says, Prathame sansana mas sain, Prathame sansana mas sain, and tund kush khabar na pai, Rakat bind ki de kar, Panj tat ki jad jadai. The physical creation, here Bhai Gurdas ji, Prathame sansana mas sain, and tund kush khabar na pai. In this line, Bhai Gurdas is talking about before time and space. In the beginning there was nothing, Tandukara. And tund kush khabar na pai, no one knew nothing. Panj rakt bind ki de kar, panj tat ki jad jadai. Here Bhai Gurdas is talking about the physical creation. 5 elements, panj tat means 5 elements. Rakt bind ki de, panj tat ki de, rakt bind ki de kar, panj tat ki jad jadai. That means the 5 elements. The creation was created with male and female. There are 4 sections. Baniya Khaniya. Already been clear in Anurag Sagar by Vishesh ji and Dr. Chand Bhardaji. Many other. Andaj, Jeraj, Setaj, Utpuch. Andaj means the one who came from eggs. The Jeraj who go to mother's womb, then come. These 2 sections need male and female to give a birth. The other 2, Setaj and Utpuj, the other 2 don't need male and female. They are created by if there is a change in climate. Utpuj, Andaj, Jeraj, Setaj, like all of a sudden, if it is too hot, you will see mosquitoes, you will see all kind of insects. They just come here with the change in the atmosphere or temperature. And Utpuj means plant kingdom. All the trees that we see all over in the jungles or in the mountains, they are not created by the meeting of male and female, they just go by nature. Out of 4 Khaniya, Andaj, Jeraj, Setaj, Utpuj, Andaj and Jeraj, 2 are with meeting of male and female. The other 2s are free. That's the will of the God. By nature. Those are controlled by the nature. Nature. Change in climate. If it rains, all kind of trees grow. That's what Kabir Sahib ji says. Abbal Allah Noor Upaya Kudrat के सब बंदे, कुदरत nature has its own rules and regulations, and we are the part of this creation. How we have to go back? If you stay in the creation, we can stay here. If we want to go back, how we go back? How we were descended here? We were descended here with Shabd or Naam. Going back, we have to catch up the same aircraft. And where we get Shabd or Naam? How we get Shabd or Naam? Naam amolak ratan hai pure Satgur pass. You can get initiation only from a PLM. The created who create the creation will come here as a PLM. It gives you initiation, get you connected with the same light and sound, the same light and sound that created spiritual, physical, astral, causal, spiritual reason. The same light and sound will take you back home. But you have to have a master in your life. It's a very big topic. I can continue talking and talking on this one. But the main thing to understand is we came here with the Shabd or Naam. With the sound current, going back, we have to catch up the same aircraft, Shabd or Naam. नामे ही ते सब कुछ हुआ. When Satgur Naam na jape, everything is created by Shabd or Naam. When Satgur Naam na jape, without the blessing, without Satgur, without PLM, perfect like a master, you cannot get the Shabd or Naam. Shabd or Naam. When Satgur kene na paya, when Satgur kene na paya, without the master you cannot go back home. Why? Because he is the one who created everything. He is the one who come back again. What is a master? Master is our spiritual GPS. He will take us back home. He will take us back home. We are stuck in the creation, but we will go back home in the spiritual creation where we came from. When Satgur kene na paya, when Satgur kene na payo. Pai Guru bin gyan na hoi. Jao pucho Brahma narde Ved Vyasi koi. Ask Brahma, Ved Vyas. Without master, you cannot go there. संत का मार्ग धर्म की पौड़ी को बडभागी पाए. दर्शन पेटिए संत के जन्म मरण दुख जाए. संत का मार्ग धर्म की पौड़ी. The path of the master is escalator to Sachkhand. Ko bhagi paye, chosen few come on this path. Darshan petiye sant ke janam maran dukh jaye. Have the darshan of the master and the drishti of the master. You will be out of the cycle of death and birth. You will be out of the creation of Pinda, Anda and Brahmanda, and you will go to Sachkhand. Sachkhand. Thank you. Please accept my seva and forgive all my mistakes. Thank you. Radha Swami.
Welcome, friends, to this two-day event in Stockholm, Sweden. I'm very happy to come back to Sweden again. It almost feels like being at home, away from home. By the time I leave, I'll think it is home. When I'll go back to Chicago, I'll tell my wife I'm now home away from home. She'll say, "Where's your home now?" I left it back in Sweden. It's very interesting how you go to places and you find that human beings, our friends, are the same everywhere. Little change of facial description, little change of language, little change of dress, little change of food, the rest is just the same. I have never met any strangers anywhere. Either they are old friends or new friends. No strangers anywhere. I've just come from Greece. I have loved Greece for a long time. The reason was when I was young, I was interested in Greek philosophy. I used to study all the great Greek philosophers, especially Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and how they modified the description of the same truth. The basic thing Socrates said, apart from a lot of teaching he gave on the steps of the Acropolis, basic thing he said is, know thyself. Find out who you are. Same thing has been said by mystics and saints all over the world. Same things have been said by the founders of all religions. I got a lucky fellowship at Harvard University to study economics and public administration. On the side, I took up a course in comparative religion. And I studied 11 different religions, major religions of the world. And I found they all say the same thing. The truth is within. Go within. Know your own self, you'll know everything. Very simple statement. Just know who you are, who you really are. Not the coverings upon yourself, not your clothes or your body or your sense perceptions or even your mind. Who are you using these things, using this body, using your sense perceptions, using your mind to think? Who is doing it? That's yourself. It's very interesting. When we go to sleep and have a dream, in the dream we don't have this body. We have a dream body. The dream body moves around, goes to places, sees things, uses eyes to see, flies with that body. It seems to have no weight in the dream. We are in one place at one moment, another place 1,000 miles away. In the next moment, looks natural in a dream. It would look absolutely unnatural here. But who is moving around? Are we seeing somebody else moving? Or is the same self moving around? You remember, same self. It has changed from wakeful state to a dream state. Self remains the same. Self never changes. Self is the only permanent thing. Everything else changes. Therefore, when Socrates said, know thyself, he was talking of that which is the only permanent reality. Everything else is created around it and changes. No matter how enlightened you are, all enlightened experiences are also changing. All higher experiences of higher levels of consciousness also change. The self who experiences them never changes. And yet we spend our whole life, human life, which has given us the capacity to investigate and find anything. Such wonderful minds, wonderful intuitive powers, wonderful power of imagination. We have been given all these assets to seek and discover anything we want. And we are spending our entire resources of investigation and search on things outside of ourselves, not anything inside. Of course, there's a reason for that. The reason is the experience outside of ourselves looks like the only reality. No other reality exists for us. So that is why if we want to make our seeking and our search real, we want to look at what is looking real, what appears to be real, and the only thing that appears real is the physical universe around us. When we go to sleep and have a dream, the only reality is the dream, not the wakeful state. We are not even aware where our body is. We are sleeping. We are only aware of what we are seeing in a dream, and that's our reality. That reality has some similarity with this reality. We feel we are the same self in the dream. We feel we have a similar body that we have here. Some people can sometimes feel that when we had a dream, we looked a little different. In fact, one great philosopher, Chinese philosopher, Fa Hin, he had a dream that he was a butterfly and he was flying in a garden. He was flapping his wings and going from flower to flower, and those were such beautiful flowers. He had never seen flowers like that in his life. Those flowers were emitting lights and colors which he had never seen in any life. And he said, this must be more real than anything I've ever experienced. It was a dream. But while the dream was lasting, he was sure that's the only reality. And he woke up. When he woke up, he began to think that dream was more real, more lucid, more clear than even this wakeful state. Is it actually that I am just a butterfly, having a dream that I am a human being? Or am I a human being who had a dream that I was a butterfly? He told his friends, I had a very strange dream. In the dream, I felt I was a butterfly. The friend said, don't be stupid, Faheen. You are a human being, an intelligent human being. You can't be a butterfly. Don't say I was a butterfly. Say you saw a butterfly in the dream. He said, I saw no butterfly. I was flying. The same self was flying, which was human being in the wakeful state. The same self was flying as a butterfly. The shape changed, the body changed, the experience changed, the self did not change. You'll be surprised that self never changes. It's the only reality, only truth. And that is why all these mystics, saints, investigators, philosophers have said, find your true ultimate self and you'll be able to know the truth about everything. Now it's just an example I'm giving of having a dream. Some people say we have very lucid dreams. They come and tell me their dreams. They say it is so real, more real than this physical world. But when they're telling me about their lucid dreams, they still call it a dream. And they call this real because they're back to this reality. It appears that we have a capacity to move from one reality to another reality. That's a great capacity. Most of us only use it in wakeful state, in a physical universe, dream state, in a dream world. Sometimes some of us have a dream within a dream. So we move 2 stages away and we wake up and think we have woken up, but then we find that that is not a wakeful state. We think it's wakeful. We wake up again and we find that we had dream within a dream. That means there is a potential in our consciousness, in our awareness, to be at different levels of experiences, which the same self experiences, but the context, the reality changes. Are there many realities? And we're just moving from one to another? Or is the self creating the realities? Very old philosophical question. They put it simply, is the tree there because you are seeing it, or are you seeing it because it is there? Those who believe a tree has to be there before you can see it, we call them materialists. They believe in the reality of matter. Those who say no, just because we are seeing the tree with our sense perceptions, with our eyes, therefore it exists. If our eyes were not there, tree won't exist. Those are called the idealists. This debate between the materialists and idealists has been going on thousands of years and probably will continue for another 1,000. Because they don't know what is the cause, what is the effect. In terms of time, we understand in physical time that the relationship between cause and effect is what comes first is cause, what comes later is effect. Therefore, they say, let's determine whether the tree has to be there before you can see it, or you see it first, then the tree comes. They say, no, you can't see unless we bring a tree in front of you. But bringing the tree in front of you is the same experience, physical experience, like the tree. So we're still examining the same thing. Now, when you very carefully examine what occurred first, the tree or the seeing of the tree, there is no time difference between the two at all. They are both simultaneous. Therefore, the question remains unanswered. They happen simultaneously. Your experience of phenomena and the phenomena are simultaneous. Doesn't answer the question. But there are some methods to discover other realities than these two, the dream state and the wakeful state. Some people call it higher awakening, as if this is also dream. And when we awaken to a higher reality, that will definitely be more real than this reality. By the way, I might mention to you that even in physics, in an experiment, they were able to shoot a particle in Fermi lab, or some one of the labs, CERN. They were able to shoot a particle and accelerated it beyond the velocity of light, which first time has happened. Otherwise, Einstein said that's a barrier. Nothing can move higher than the velocity of light. Now they discovered around black holes, things are moving faster. So there is a new concept now. Things can move faster. What happened to the particle which was shot at a velocity higher than the velocity of light? The particle reached its destination before it left. So cause and effect is all topsy-turvy now in physics. Not only that, Einstein, one of the greatest scientists, when he was confronted with quantum physics, he was surprised. In quantum physics, we found that the human observation can change a wave motion into a particle, into matter. This was actually discovered. It was discovered almost 60 years ago and still accepted. Quantum physics is accepted science, accepted physics today. What they discovered, that if you have a hydrogen atom, what is a hydrogen atom? It's merely a proton, a nucleus around which a single electron moves. One electron, one proton constitutes the simplest of matter, which is hydrogen gas. We know exactly the distance. Current measurement allows us to even examine an atom and see that the exact distance between the nucleus and the electron, where it is. It's an orbit. It's near circular orbit. Now, is the orbit going this way, or this way, or this way? How many positions can the electron take if the distance is still the same? 5, 10? No. If you make little deviation, million places. Therefore, the current description, according to quantum physics, of electron, of a hydrogen atom, is there is a wave of energy at the same distance, and you can put your laser beam anywhere on that orbit, you'll find the electron there. No matter top, side, anywhere. You put the laser beam as an instrument of observation. Wherever you put that, electron is there. After that, the electron is nowhere else. What have you done? You converted what was a wave around the nucleus into a particle. Very big thing. Is human observation creating energy into matter? This is what bothered Einstein toward the last part of his life. In the last notes he recorded a month before he died, he says, I failed to give enough attention to the role of an observer. I kept on observing what is being observed, but not who is observing and what his role is in physics. Big statement. But he died before he could examine it further. 2 days ago, another big scientist died. A paralyzed scientist who could hardly move, Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking gave an interview a month ago, less than a month ago. In that interview, he's examining something he's examined all his life, cosmology. Where did this universe come from? And everybody had been convinced by now there was a singularity, a point from where the universe started and is expanding all the time, even now. We are living in an expanding universe. People try to examine what was there before the expansion started. Where did it take place? They say there was no time, no space. Even time and space came from that singularity and is expanding from there. Where is it? When we look from our point of view on planet Earth, it's just one planet in one little solar system. Very small solar system compared to thousands of others, billions of others existing in this universe. When we examine on all four sides, the universe is expanding, moving away from us. All galaxies we can observe are going away from us. Are we the center of the universe? How could one planet be the center of the universe? To explain this, they say the singularity, the center itself spread. So all points in the universe are the point of singularity. But one big problem was created by this expansion, by this Big Bang theory, that we had a Big Bang and the world expanded and is still expanding, will go on expanding till it collapses and it becomes a black hole. First time black holes were clearly defined were by Stephen Hawking. He wrote a book which I read when it was first published in 1988. It was called A Brief History of Time. One of the most popular books, 10 million copies have been sold. It's an explanation of his research into black holes in terms which an ordinary man can understand, because scientists can only understand in terms of equations, mathematical equations. So he avoided mathematical equations and described time, how time started from the black hole. A black hole can expand. At that time they thought maybe there's only one black hole from where this universe comes. Now we have found two more in our own galaxy and billions more in the whole universe. So there's many universes. One of the explanations being given is maybe there was another universe in which the Big Bang took place and we came here. Last month, before he died, Stephen Hawking had an interview in which he said, I have spent my time trying to study what was there before the Big Bang. And he came up with a very interesting statement. He said, before time was created, I believe there was imaginary time. He said this, that there was imaginary time. The scientists saying this. Before this time which we are living in now came, there was imaginary time. And then he described what imaginary time is. He's questioned, what do you mean by imaginary time? And he says, imaginary time is like we imagine now. For example, we are sitting in good company and we think 15 minutes have passed. We look at the clock. It is 2 hours. We were enjoying so much, we thought 15 minutes. He said 15 minutes is the imaginary time, 2 hours is the time that's expanding here, when which clocks are working. Can you imagine this truth about imagination pre-existing the physical universe has been stated in our spiritual books for thousands of years? Nothing new. Once we understand that what he's saying has been stated many times earlier. I have in my talks given as early as in 1960 said that the imagination is the higher state of awareness from where this physical state is born. And the scientist is saying now, after so many years, how could I make that claim that imagination is more real than this? Because you can awake to a reality in which your imagination creates everything. And there the self that will have that reality will be the same self that is having this reality. Another reality from which a lot of things are coming up. It's not hidden from us. It is coterminous with this. It's simultaneous with this. When we say we have sense perceptions, we can see, we can smell, we can hear, we can touch, taste, smell. When we have these 5 sense perceptions, where are they coming from? Are they coming from the bodily organs? Are we seeing only with these eyes? If it were true, we could not close our eyes and imagine something and see it. We could not remember a scene that we have seen long ago and close our eyes and remember and see it again. Are the eyes of the mind? What eyes are those which can see in imagination? What ears are those which can hear stories we heard long ago, which can hear sounds which we heard long ago, can be heard today? Can you imagine that when we imagine ourselves, we have all the sense perceptions intact? Supposing we were to imagine we are standing on top of the roof of this building and we are jumping around there, we can actually feel it. All sense perceptions will be completely intact. In fact, when we say Einstein came up with a great theory of relativity which was not known at all, where did he get it from? According to him, from imagination. He himself explained that if you can imagine, you can find anything. Big scientists have said this, and simple people preparing entertainment for us, like Walt Disney, who set up Disney World, he said the same thing. If you can imagine something, you can make it a reality in physical world. So much importance given to imagination that we say it's imaginary, it's not real, because our reality at wakeful state is only this reality. Can we then really go, while we are human beings, go to a reality in which imagination becomes real? Is it possible? It is possible. And I've come to share this news with you. Really, that's the purpose of my coming and seeing you. It is possible to go through a reality in which imagination becomes real. And therefore, all imagination, all invention, all discovery, all thoughts being translated into sense perceptions are coming from there. What happens if you can go to that state of reality, other than this reality? You can experience everything you are experiencing now in a much better way. Have you ever imagined that if you're reading a newspaper, you're old like I am, I have to use glasses to read, eyes are not 20/20 anymore, and if I now imagine, and in imagination I read, I can read the newspaper very clearly. 20/20. What kind of eyes are those in imagination that can read so clearly? In imagination I can fly, I can do anything. Now this is what is a possibility for us human beings who are seeking realities other than this reality, who are seeking which is the self that can experience multiple realities. Now, this is a simple sharing of my information with you. This body is a piece of awareness that we are aware. We have hands, feet, we have a torso, we have a head. It's our awareness that we have a body. When we are not aware that we have a body, this world disappears. Have you noticed that? When we sleep, this world disappears. Not only body disappears, the world disappears. A whole new world opens up. Can we then, in our own control, cause a disappearance of this body, or the awareness of this body? Can we, with our own control, make this body disappear and see what remains? Where the self exists, the same self that is experiencing this body and the world, physical world around it. What would happen if the awareness of this body disappears? Can we make it happen? Yes, we can. Because we have been given some very special gifts. Every one of us has been given some special gifts which enable us to do that. What are the gifts? Three gifts: awareness, attention, power of concentrating that attention. Simple. We all are conscious, aware, wakeful. We all have awareness. We are aware of this world. We are aware of this hall. We are aware of each other here. It's an awareness. Within the awareness, we can put our attention on wherever we like. If I like these flowers, for example, I put my attention on the flowers. I become more aware of the flower, less aware of everything else. Very wonderful quality. That if you put your attention on something, you become less attentive and less aware of other things. What is needed? Concentrate your attention on something that will become more clear, more vivid, more experiential than the other things around it. You go to a concert and you hear several musical instruments playing, and you say, I like the drums better than the others, and concentrate your listening on the drums. If you concentrate, say, I like to hear the drums, drums become louder, other instruments become weaker. There's no change there. It's your own experience that you have concentrated your attention on something. As your awareness is more focused on one thing, it is automatically creating less awareness of other things. That's the greatest gift given to us in order to discover something way beyond this physical reality. How do we do it? Instead of putting attention on the flowers, on the drums, on something else, why not put attention on the self? What would happen if we put our attention on the self, our own self, and concentrate it there? We'll become unaware of things outside. If we can concentrate longer, we can become less aware, unaware. Not only of what is around us, we'll become less aware of even our physical body. Not all at once. People have tried this. People meditate, and they meditate doing the same method of concentrating their attention somewhere behind the eyes, call it third eye center, or some other place. When they concentrate attention inside, all they are doing is to withdraw awareness from outside. And the first thing that happens when you lose the awareness of your body is you don't know where your feet and hands are. If you concentrate more, you don't know where your legs and arms have gone. It appears that the lack of awareness, that the withdrawal of awareness does not take place all at once. There is a process through which we are moving more and more towards our head. People say we float in the sky because awareness is pulled out from the bottom of the torso. And that's the feeling they get. People who have tried concentration of attention behind the eyes in their own head, where they believe the self is operating from in a wakeful state, they say we become unaware of the body in stages. Now examine when a person dies in his physical body. At my age, I have seen a lot of my friends dying, elders dying. I have seen terminal illnesses, gone and seen them in hospital dying. When a person is dying, does he die in the whole body suddenly? Or does he also die in stages? You'll notice even death takes place in stages. Physical death. Then the body is no longer functioning, is finished. Physical death starts from the hands and the feet, the arms. The patient is saying, dying, patient saying, please put my leg on the right side. The leg is already there. Become unaware of the leg. Still speaking. I'm floating in the sky. I can feel something. No, he's still speaking. His eyes are moving, looking at us. He can't speak. He's trying to speak. His death is overtaking him. Eyes are moving. He can see. Eyes are still. Brain is dead. He's dead. Finished. It appears that the process by which life goes out of us. Our awareness of our body and our world around us goes away is in a certain stages. Now, can you imagine if you were to concentrate your attention on your own self, you'll have the same experience. But your heart won't stop, breathing won't stop, vital signs won't change, because it's a practice you are doing only withdrawing your attention to a place which makes you unaware of other places. Very practical way. And when you do that, withdraw your attention, you are really experiencing the same thing a person experiences when he physically dies. But you are doing it while you are alive, completely alive. That is why sometimes this process of withdrawing attention and bringing it back into your head has been called dying while living. In the Bible, Paul says, I die daily. It doesn't mean physical death. Of course, it means that he has a process by which he can experience death. But people die, leave the body, he can do it every day. You can do it too. Anybody can do it. The mechanics of it is so simple. Use of your awareness and bringing it back through attention and concentrating attention on yourself. One question comes up. In order to do it, to practice it, to actually experiment with it, the question is, where do I draw my attention? Where is the self operating from when I'm awake and talking to people and looking at the world? Where do I operate from? That should be first examined before you start the exercise. Am I operating from my hands? No. From my arms, body, energy centers below in my heart? No. Am I thinking from there? Am I deciding things from there? It doesn't take very long to say it's somewhere in the head. Not only that, if you were to say the eyes are windows that are looking at the world and close your eyes, you still feel you're behind the eyes, and you open your eyes and look out. You almost feel you are somewhere at that level in the head, behind the eyes. And what place behind the eyes? I'll give you a very simple physiological answer to this question, what place behind the eyes are you operating from in the wakeful state? We have two eyes. The two eyes are seeing two pictures. You can examine on the retina, two pictures will come. Let's try today meditation behind the eyes with love and